Hi, Dave here. Setting flash to ambient exposure with a flash meter. Modern flash meters combine flash and ambient exposure. So it's really easy to use a flash meter. You just set the shutter speed and the ISO, push a button on the meter that's ready to go when you're in flash mode, and you pop the flash or trigger the flash, and it gives you an f-stop number at that shutter speed, and that's what you set your lens and camera at. So this meter that I'm using, the Sekonic, will read both ambient and flash, or it will read ambient by itself. And when the flash and the ambient exposure become equal to each other, it increases the total setting by one stop. In other words, like if you were at f5.6 ambient and you had f5.6 flash, the combined reading would be f8. The meter automatically compensates for this. You'll see it on the meter. It reads 50% flash to ambient. If you don't take an ambient reading first, this is more of a reminder to myself, but it's also a teaching lesson to others that don't understand metering, combine ambient to flash. How do you know when you have hit ambient exposure when decreasing the flash? So as a test here, I metered the subject at f6.3 to the 60th, ISO 100, no flash. Okay, so this meter, I set it to ambient mode only. And you can see the exact settings here. I held the meter under the subject's chin and pushed the button, and I got f6.33, 6.3 and 3/10 at a 60th at ISO 100. Okay, so that's what I would set my lens and camera at and take a picture. Okay, that was this picture up here. Okay, now I have external power light on a stand with an umbrella on it set to my right, camera right. Now I changed the meter to flash mode. So it's going to combine the ambient reading along with the flash. Setting the camera and lens, after I popped the flash, I metered and popped the flash, or triggered the flash, I got f9 at 60th at ISO 100. I set the power light to add a lot of flash in this instance when I fired it. And you can see the background got much darker. If you look at the meter reading itself, okay, it's kind of hard to see in this picture, but you'll see 60% up here in the right corner. Okay, so that's a 60% is 10% stronger than the ambient exposure. So in this case, it's f9 at a 60th, and I set my camera lens to that, and that's this picture I got right here. Okay, so the question is when reducing flash. Okay, so in this case, I just lowered the flash output and took a reading after I popped the flash. And this is the picture I got, and you can see the background is still dark. And if you look at the meter reading, okay, up in this corner, it's 30%. So it's less than the ambient exposure, and this is typically where you would set fill flash. Okay, decreasing it more as flash power is reduced to 6.3 to the 60th. So I popped I reduced the power of the flash again and lowered it, and the background is starting to get brighter here. You can see the setting. The meter is reading 10% flash to ambient, and this indicates the flash is adding very little to the total exposure of the picture. I lowered the power even more, and here's the picture. And if you look on the on the meter is the ambient, or flash to ambient percentage is 0. And so when the flash meter reading does not lower, you have hit ambient exposure. And I even lowered the power even more just to check the meter reading again, and it was doing pretty much the same. So I switched the meter over. I wanted to see what the ambient is. Switching the meter over to read the ambient light only, and reading it, we see the fact that it has reached ambient exposure. So my conclusion is, when combining flash and ambient exposure, keep this in mind. As you decrease the flash, pay attention to the change in the reading and don't get confused. When the combined flash setting does not lower, you are hitting ambient exposure. And this is a reminder to myself, because it happened to me on a shoot and I got very confused about it. And for example, in this case, if I wanted to hit a certain number, let's say it was f5.6 in this case, and it was reading f6.3, and I kept lowering and lowering the flash, well, it's not going to go any lower because you've hit the ambient reading. So that's my point. That's it. I'm Dave. David Likes Photography. Thanks for watching.